Watch who buys the biggest logos in any luxury store. It is almost never the richest person there. Tonight, you learn the game above the game. This is why rich people stopped wearing logos. Last time you learned where your wanting comes from. Now watch the winners hide it. Picture the elevator of an expensive office tower. Monday, 8:55 a.m. The new associate wears the loudest watch his salary can survive. His shoes announce their brand from across the lobby. Even his coffee cup is turned, so the logo faces the doors. On the top floor, the man who owns the building steps in. Gray sweatshirt, plain watch, nothing to read at all. Nobody photographs him, he prefers it that way. Two men, one elevator, and the quieter one could buy the other's employer. You have seen this scene all your life and filed it under taste. It is not taste. It is a tower with 3 floors, and the floors are talking. The conversation even has a name, but the name took until 2002 to arrive. In 2002, 3 economists published a paper titled "Too Cool for School." Nick Feltovich, Rick Harbaugh, and Ted To had found a hole in signaling theory. Signals exist to prove quality. The degree on the wall, the suit, the logo. But the math predicted something strange at the very top. When your quality is already known, signaling starts to cost you. Shouting proves you still need to shout. So the strongest players do the unthinkable. They drop the signal on purpose. A silence that only makes sense from above. The paper's examples read like gossip. The average student studies loudly. The top student never mentions grades. New money buys the newest car on the block. Old money drives a 20-year-old estate. The economists named the move countersignaling. The middle shouts to separate from the bottom. The top goes silent to separate from the middle. Keep that sentence. It is the master key to every room you will ever enter. But an equation is cheap. Watch the tower pay out in 4 kinds of evidence. Draw the tower once, and you will never unsee it. The ground floor cannot afford the signal. Its silence is invisibility. The middle floor can barely afford it, so it signals at maximum volume. The logo, the title in the bio, the watch that costs 2 months of salary. The top floor has nothing left to prove and stops transmitting. 2 silences, 1 sound, and the sound always comes from the middle, which leaves the tower's central problem. The 2 silences look identical, unless you know how to read them. The next 4 witnesses teach you. In 2010, 3 marketing professors took a ruler to luxury handbags. Young Jihan, Joseph Nunes, and Xavier Drèze measured logos in centimeters. Then they lined the measurements up against the prices. The result runs backwards from everything the middle floor believes. The louder the bag, the cheaper it tends to be. The most expensive pieces often carry no visible brand at all. Quiet is not the absence of the signal. Quiet is the premium tier. Within a single brand, the same staircase, the quiet line sits at the top of the price list. The professors even named the buyers. The climbers choose loud. The arrived choose silent. The counterfeit market told the same story from below. Fakes copy the loudest designs, because fakes are bought to shout. The middle floor and the forgery are aiming at the same audience. That is money confessing. Now watch style confess. That same year, 2 researchers stripped the logos off entirely. Jonah Berger and Berger Ward showed people luxury goods with the branding removed. Ordinary shoppers went blind. They could not tell a legend from a knockoff. Fashion insiders read every piece without a single label. The stitching, the cut, the hardware, a code only their floor can read. And insiders paid extra for the quiet pieces, priced for their eyes only. A loud signal broadcasts to everyone. A quiet one narrowcasts to the people who matter. The middle buys a megaphone. The top buys an unlisted number. Silence, it turns out, has an address written on it. And the address system is far older than any handbag. In 2011, 2 Dutch researchers turned the obvious objection into an experiment. Because you should be objecting. Logos clearly work. And they do. Rob Nelissen and Nelissen Meijers printed the same shirt twice. One with a luxury logo, one plain. Then they sent people out to ask strangers for a small favor. In the plain shirt, 13.6% of strangers agreed to help. In the logo shirt, 52.2%. Charity collectors wearing the logo brought home almost double, 34 cents against 19. Mock job interviews priced the logo too, $9.14 an hour against $8.36. So the logo is real money. But check whom it worked on. Strangers, pedestrians, shoppers, people who will never see you twice. The logo is currency for the broad audience, and the top floor quietly left that market. Why abandon a currency that works? Because this war has always been about a better one. In 1899, an economist watched this war begin and wrote it down. Thorstein Veblen named what new industrial money was doing: conspicuous consumption. Mansions like megaphones, gold on everything, wealth performed in public. Europe's old aristocracy answered without raising its voice. Shabby tweed, worn furniture, understatement sharpened into a weapon. They could not outshout the new money, so they made shouting itself the tell. The middle floor was invented in 1899. The top floor answered within a generation. 127 years later, the same war runs on your wrist and in your feed. In 2014, 3 researchers walked the theory into the boutiques of Milan. They told 52 luxury shop assistants about a woman entering in gym clothes. A second version of her entered in an elegant dress and fur. The assistants rated the gym clothes higher, 4.9 against 3.8. More likely to be a celebrity, too, 4.9 against 2.5. Only someone untouchable, they reasoned, dares to walk in like that. Then the researchers asked ordinary pedestrians at the train station. The scores flipped, 5.7 for the fur, 3.5 for the gym clothes. Same outfit, opposite reading. The code only works on people who know the room. A professor in a plain t-shirt scored 5.7 against 5.0, but only at elite universities. They called it the red sneakers effect. One more detail matters. The effect died when the outfit looked accidental. The room must believe you broke the code on purpose. Remember that for later. Breaking the dress code reads as status exactly where everyone else obeys it. In 2017, an economist checked whether the rich had actually moved their money. Elizabeth Currid-Halkett pulled decades of American household spending records. Since 2007, the top 1%, households earning $300,000 and up, spend less on visible goods. Not less overall. Less on things that can be seen. The money moved to education, health and retirement, purchases with no logo at all. Education now takes almost 6% of a top 1% budget. For middle-income families, it stays near 1%. Top 1% education spending has multiplied 3.5 times since 1996. The middle stayed flat. She named the shift inconspicuous consumption, spending designed not to be seen. The tower is not a metaphor about taste. It shows up in the national accounts. The quiet purchases still signal to the only audience that can price a tutor. And there is a room where all 3 floors broadcast at once, 24 hours a day. Now open your phone, because the elevator never stops running there. The feed is the tower with the doors removed, every floor visible at once. Watch who posts the wins, the trips, the watches, the airport lounges. The middle floor documents everything, because everything still needs proving. The humble brag is the middle floor trying to speak the top floor's language. So blessed, so grateful, the complaint wrapped around the trophy. Insiders read it instantly, the way Milan's shop assistants read the fur. The same physics runs on LinkedIn. The busiest bios belong to the newest arrivals. And the truly arrived mostly do not post at all. Their silence is aimed, like the unbranded bag, at the only floor they still talk to. By now, the tower looks like a ladder you could climb by going quiet. Careful. Countersignaling has an entry fee, and the fee is everything. Go back to Milan. The gym clothes worked on 52 insiders and failed on everyone else. The t-shirt professor won at elite universities and lost everywhere else. The move needs 2 things you cannot fake: secured status and an audience that knows the code and assumes intention. Quiet only reads as top floor when the room already suspects you belong there. Copy the silence too early, and the tower files you on the ground floor. Invisible, not exclusive. Unknown, not understated. The ground floor's silence says cannot. The top floor says done. The room decides which it heard. Silence is a luxury good, and it is priced in reputation you must already own. The logo did not disappear. It moved to a wavelength you were never given. So, 2 letters. The first goes to you on the way up. Do not imitate the silence of people who have already arrived. Your signals are ladders, the degree, the portfolio, the finished work. Use them. But signal with evidence, not with rented plastic. A logo rents status by the month. Proof of work owns it. When your name starts arriving in rooms before you do, lower the volume then. Until then, loud and honest beats quiet and invisible on every floor that matters to you. The tower keeps honest books. It knows a rented logo, and it knows real work. The second letter goes to you if the room already knows your name. Your quiet is not neutral. It is a signal aimed at your own floor. Ask yourself whom it excludes, and whether you chose that. The kindest insiders leave the code readable. They credit, they explain, they open doors. Silence that never explains itself hardens into a wall. You spent years earning the right to be unreadable. Spend a little of it being clear. A door held open costs the top floor nothing. It is the one signal with no downside. The elevator opens again tomorrow at 8:55, and now you can hear it talking. The logo was never the product. The floor was. But one question survives every floor. Who taught you which direction to look? The tower is not going anywhere, but you will never ride that elevator blind again. Next time, you were never comparing yourself to them, the real mechanics of comparison.